Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Three More. And this movie came out in 2024, and it's basically a feature length film that's just broken up into segments, all directed by Wes Anderson. And those segments are The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, The Swan, The Rat Catcher, and Poison. And going into this movie, I have seen all of these individual short films on Netflix, but I didn't watch the whole thing together in just one sitting. And I was thinking, okay, maybe there's like something new added, and that's the only reason I watched this movie, is because I was thinking maybe something was added. I didn't really remember a whole lot from each of these individual segments, so maybe there was a thing or two added, but there wasn't anything that unfamiliar to me. I kind of felt very similar to all these different segments the same way I did the first time I watched all these different films, is that they're all good, all thoroughly enjoyable. And if I were to rank them, my favorite one out of all these would be Poison at number one. Number two would be The Rat Catcher. Number three would be The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. And number four would be The Swan, which is the one I was just invested in the least. Definitely the most bored by while watching, and there's definitely things to love about all four of these segments. Like the movie looks visually great. It's all shot very symmetrically, like Wes Anderson likes to do with all of his movies and even his commercials. The acting's great, and sometimes you get the same actors playing different characters, which was fun, and it's also pretty cool seeing just how these different actors are able to play different characters and make them feel like different characters. And I also like how this movie is presented like it's being read to you as if it's from a book, but which all of these movies are based on different books, I believe. And the humor in this movie worked for me. There were points where I found it to be funny, especially in Poison. And that one just had me thoroughly engaged from minute one to the second it ended. And I also like in The Rat Catcher how that Rat Catcher character is portrayed in that story. He's very entertaining and memorable for me. And that story within a story structure that this movie has, and how characters talk like they're in a book, like after they say a certain line, sometimes they say, "he said," and that was kind of funny and memorable. It kind of reminded me of the Grand Budapest Hotel, not the he said, but the story within a story. And there were points in this movie where the pacing was pretty quick, but also some parts where it was pretty slow, mostly with the Swan. And that's really where I feel as though this movie just came to a grinding halt when it got to the Swan. Not because it's like bad necessarily, but rather I just don't really care. And honestly, thinking about this retrospectively, I'll probably just watch these individual short films just separately, so I can just skip the Swan because I don't really care for it that much. Still like it, but do I need to come back to it? Not really. Whereas the other ones, I just don't feel that way about. And luckily, the Swan is pretty short. It's about the same length as The Rat Catcher and Poison, I believe. Whereas The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is the longest. That one's like 40 minutes long, and the rest of them are like, I don't know, 17 minutes long each. And this movie as a whole, like all of them combined, is like an hour and a half. So it's not a huge time commitment, I feel, and it has a great cast that works very well, and there was some great usage of sound design at points. Like there are points where characters are moving to the side of the camera out of frame, and you can only hear them in one specific channel. If you're watching with a good sound setup or with headphones, then you'll pick up on that detail, and I thought that was cool. I also like the stop motion animation that was in the film, even if it wasn't in the film a lot. And there were also some nice long takes in this movie that I also really appreciated. And that's really all I have to say about The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Three More. It was good. I liked watching it. I'll probably watch these stories individually instead of just one whole thing, so I can skip the swan. But I will say that I didn't regret rewatching these stories. I enjoyed it. So check this movie out whenever you get the chance. It's currently on Netflix if you want to watch it. That's where I saw it, and I think that's the only way you can watch it, unless I'm mistaken. But check all these movies out because they're all worth watching. I would recommend either just watching this, or if you want to split it up and just watch them individually, just so you can break it down and have more time for each of these stories. You can do that. You have the option. So whatever you want to do, I would recommend one of those two. They're all worth watching at least once. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Three More a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Three More, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Sisters Brothers. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.